so much. There you go. Spacebound 2023 has landed. C'est grandement apprécié que vous soyez là. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us over the next couple days. I think we're going to have wonderful discussions, great networking opportunities, and be able to learn from each other. So I think it's going to be a very productive time for the Canadian space ecosystem. So it's amazing that you're all a part of this. J'aimerais prendre un moment pour remercier nos commanditaires. So I want to take a moment right off the top to thank our sponsors. Obviously, these types of events are supported by those that sponsor, and we really appreciate every single one of them. So our partner sponsors, Telesat, Calian, MDA, gold sponsors, Axiom, BMO, Deloitte, Eutelsat, OneWeb, Mission Control, silver sponsors, Air Burles, Menya Solutions, bronze sponsors, BLG, CIBC, CG, lots of acronyms in that one, Euroconsult, Felix and Paul, Gallant McDonald, GHG Sat, North Star, Earth and Space. We'd also like to thank our broadcasting partner, CPAC, as you can see in the back of the room. You may have had a camera in your face as you were walking in and grabbing a muffin. So we'd like to thank them for helping us spread the message on what's happening with the Canadian space ecosystem. So please, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for all of our partners. They and the over 75 Canadian space innovators that Space Canada represents are working hard to protect the environment and combat climate change, safeguard Canada's security and sovereignty, bridge the digital divide, ensure space sustainability for generations to come, enable Canada to explore beyond our planet, inspiring youth to reach for the stars, hopefully by pursuing careers in the space sector. Il y aura certainement amplement de possibilités économiques et d'emplois pour les prochaines générations dans ce secteur. En effet, le secteur spatial représente des possibilités économiques importantes. 2 emplois sur 3 dans le secteur spatial sont du personnel hautement qualifié. The space sector contributes just under $3 billion to the Canadian economy every year, provides over 24,000 jobs to Canadians. Space sector jobs pay 64% more than the Canadian average. And by the way, the Canadian space sector is very R&D intensive, with over $500 million of annual investment. This is 18 times higher than the R&D investment of other manufacturing sectors. The global space economy is projected to grow exponentially to about $1 trillion in the 2030s and as large as $2 trillion in the 2040s. Couple all these economic opportunities with the James Webb Telescope, the Lunar Gateway, the Artemis program, and so much more. It's an exciting time for space in Canada.
Big challenges that need even bigger solutions. Space-based innovations provide the insight, data, and solutions we can't get anywhere else, and it's already making a difference. We are Space Canada. We are tracking the effects of climate change so the world can better fight it. We are protecting Canada's sovereignty by securing our northern and coastal zones, and bringing advanced connectivity to rural, remote, and Indigenous communities where none existed before. We are peering into the universe and uncovering opportunities right here on Earth. We are inspiring the next generation to dream big and build better. We are investing billions in Canada, creating the jobs of the future. The new space economy is growing, and Canada is in a high-stakes global race. Now is the time to be ambitious and bold for our country's future and for our planet.
Now, I'm very excited to make sure that we have our guest of honor here this morning on the stage. But before that, and please forgive me, I am going to make an exception to what I said I would do. I was going to name nobody in the room, but I'm going to name one person because I think we should acknowledge his support last night, but of course also what he has done for our country and for humankind. He was our guest speaker last night at the parliamentary reception. A wonderful Canadian, a wonderful message last night as well. So please a round of applause for CSA astronaut David Saint-Jacques. And I just want to say that we also had a wonderful message I received from Jeremy Hansen saying that he wished he could be with us, but of course, as I'm sure you all know, he's a bit busy at the moment. So we very much appreciate, obviously, his support and everything he's doing for the Canadian space ecosystem and as well for humankind. I tell you that story because I think it shows very much how he cares about the ecosystem. But also, I just wanted to tell you that I got a message from Jeremy Hansen. So I just wanted you all to know that. I thought, he took time. He texted me. That's all good. So on to our main event this morning. So my next guest has played a significant role in the global space economy for years. He has led roles as the CEO of SES New Sky, CEO and General Counsel of New Skies, and as Associate General Counsel and Vice President of Government and Regulatory Affairs at Pan Am Sat. Since 2006, he is the President and CEO of Telesat. But the most important role, no question about it, he was the inaugural chair of the Board of Directors of Space Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Goldberg.
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone. Good to see everyone. It's all good. Oh, you didn't know? It's been a busy time for me with, the wearing the two hats and all that. Anyway, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to introduce our really distinguished guest. But before I do want to say thank you to Brian. There he is. Thank you to Brian for all of his efforts in standing up this association. It was 2 years ago that we all got together. There's so much going on in our sector right now. There's so much promise. And we felt that we needed to form an association to capture all of that and to bring it together. And we were fortunate enough to get Brian to come and lead the organization. And so Brian, I want to say thank you for everything you've done, for pulling this all together, and for all the people that have supported you in that process. So Brian, thanks for that. And I want to reiterate what Brian said and amplify what was said in the video. This is a massively exciting time in our sector, in the Canadian, in the space sector, kind of writ large, but here in Canada too. As Brian said, I've been in this business and in this sector for a long time, over 30 years, and I've got to say, at this moment in time, for better or worse, now is far and away the most exciting, the most dynamic, transformative time in the sector. And that's can be unnerving sometimes, but it's also offering up huge opportunities for all of us to make investments, to hire people, to grow our companies. Maybe just a quick word on what we're doing at Telesat. So we've been around for 54 years, but we are embarking on the largest, most ambitious project in our history. I'm talking about our Telesat Lightspeed Low Earth Orbit satellite constellation. It's the biggest space project in Canada's history. We will be doing this all in Canada. We announced a couple of months ago that we'll be building this transformative constellation here in Canada with MDA. I see my partner, Mike Greenlee, sitting right up there. But between the two of us, we will create, sustain thousands of jobs here in Canada. And we will bring the most disruptive, revolutionary, transformative global broadband constellation in space that the world has ever seen. And it'll all happen here in Canada. And I think, it's what gets me and my colleagues going every day. And it's a huge opportunity for Canada in this sector. But I know, because I spend time with all of you, that it's the tip of the iceberg. I know that all of you are hiring people, you're investing money, you're world-class in your space, and the promise that all of us have together, it's enormous. But we also know that as good as we are, and as much as we invest in the like, it is a massively competitive world out there, and we are competing in a promising, fast-growing, but highly competitive global market. And we know that in order to be successful, we need strong partners and a strong partnership with government. which brings me to our keynote speaker this morning, François-Philippe Champagne gets it. He understands what's going on in our sector. He understands the promise that we offer to Canadians and to the rest of the world. And he is sharing our vision, sharing our ambition, and has been a huge champion of our sector. And I want to thank him personally for the leadership that he has shown on my project and Mike's project, Telesat Lightspeed. He is a rare combination of somebody with deep private sector experience as a lawyer, as a business person, and as someone who has operated in international markets around the world. And he, for the past few years, has had hugely impactful portfolios here in Canada as a minister. And we are fortunate that we have him on our side. We're fortunate that he has this combination of skills that makes him so effective. And I would say you don't need to trust me. The results speak for themselves in terms of the achievements that he and his colleagues have had in the sectors of aerospace, of autos, in pharmaceuticals, and happily in space. And so with no further ado, I ask you all in joining me to welcome our dynamic and committed and ambitious and impactful Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry. Please join me in welcoming His Honorable François-Philippe Champagne.
Wow, what a morning, what an introduction. Actually, I was looking at the guy in the picture. He looks much younger, but he has the same tie, so I can't really lie that it's me, because I look at him and I look at me. I said, yeah, look younger, but with the same tie. I think I'm giving it away this morning. Hey, listen, bonjour à tous. Grand plaisir d'être avec vous tous et toutes ce matin. Good morning, everyone. What a morning. Mike, it's nice to see you. It's like a family reunion every time I come here and with all the colleagues. I want to acknowledge Francis Carpelegia. Francis is with us this morning, mon collègue du Québec qui est avec nous, qui fait un travail évidemment extraordinaire, qui est un champion pour l'industrie évidemment aérospatiale chez nous. And my, not my new colleague, but my new Parliament Secretary, Ryan Turnbull. Why don't you stand up? I mean, you're the tallest guy in the room anyway. People will see you, and I can tell you, Ryan is a force of nature and certainly will be a great ally with all of us here to make sure that the space industry is reaching its full potential. But a real guest of honor for me, c'est David Saint-Jacques. David, pourquoi tu te lèves pas, notre astronaute qui est allé là-bas? When someone said there's a guest of honor, I said, yeah, I agree. It's David Saint-Jacques. And by the way, Mr. President, Brian, if you want to brag about how many text messages you get from Jeremy Henson, I'm happy to disclose all the text messages, because you know what? We're going back to the moon. I don't know if you've heard that, but this is where we're going. We are indeed going back to the moon, and this is a great moment for all of us. You may remember when I was on stage in Houston, and it was quite exciting, actually. Even the producers told me, Minister, you have energy, but for God's sake, we didn't expect all that at the same place and at the same time, but it was a great moment. Lisa Campbell, thank you, Lisa, the president of the Space Agency, for your passion, vision, and dedication, I must say. You are, simply put, an inspiring leader. And I want to say that in front of everyone, because I had the privilege to be with Lisa at many events, and she is a force of nature, respected, admired, and consulted by some of the partner in the space agencies we have around the world. So Lisa, thank you for your work. I think you represent us very well, and we're proud to have you as the president of the Space Agency. Oui, elle mérite. Madame Stéphanie Durand, Madame Durand, vous êtes là. Écoutez, heureux de vous avoir à l'Agence spatiale canadienne. C'est un grand plaisir de vous avoir avec nous. Brian Galland, cher Brian, on est fiers et privilégiés de t'avoir une nouvelle association industrielle, évidemment celle pour l'espace, mais avec un président qui a une longue feuille de route et qui vraiment amène une expertise, une expérience qui va servir tout le monde. Alors, je veux dire, en mon nom personnel, Brian, et au nom de tout le monde, merci de nous aider vraiment à, je le dire, développer l'industrie aérospatiale et d'avoir quelqu'un comme toi à la tête. Je pense qu'on est tous chanceux et on doit tous te remercier. Alors, merci, Brian. Dan, it's great that you would introduce me because in a way, I was reflecting on you yesterday, even before the nice word you said about me. By the way, I could not amend the speech that quickly. But I was thinking that you are a true pillar of the Canadian space sector, and I want to thank you for creating so many possibilities and opportunities with Mike for the space sector and for a number of small and medium-sized businesses. You two are really pillars. Both you, Mike, at MDA, I know Mike is there and Dan is there, but you've been creating possibility, opportunities for the space sector in Canada, and we are very proud to have you as part of our team. This is really Team Canada going to space. I want to say to Danica Gosnell also, thank you for welcoming us in this wonderful place. I don't know where Danica is, but she's always very nice. Écoutez, quel plaisir d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui pour célébrer les avancées dans un domaine qui fait la renommée du Canada partout dans le monde. Quand on pense aux fusées, quand on pense aux navettes, aux stations spatiales, à Artemis, notre secteur de l'espace, vous en conviendrez, nos compagnies canadiennes, nos innovateurs et nos satellites font la fierté du Canada. Je pense que si vous allez dans le monde, l'histoire spatiale canadienne, c'est une histoire inspirante qui fait la fierté de tout le monde. Et en fait, la première percée de notre pays dans l'espace, c'est un satellite qui l'a réalisé. Imaginez, ceux qui sont assez vieux, ceux qui sont nés bien avant 1962, on parle du satellite Alouette, qui a été le premier satellite 100% canadien lancé dans l'espace. Et ça, c'était en 1962. And this was, you know, the first satellite. Our first foray into space was the Alouette satellite in 1962. And at the time, it was said by many that this initiative was the most progressive space program of the era at the time. So we've been in space for a long, long time, and satellites have been key to bring Canada into this sector. Et à ce moment-là, imaginez, on devenait le troisième pays au monde à se rendre dans l'espace. Imaginez le troisième pays au monde. So our mission, I would say, and now I'm using the words of David Saint-Jacques, which I spend time at, I'm talking about mission now. How do we continue to lean into space in a place where Canada always had a very important place? 60 ans plus tard, l'acquisition et même, je dirais, l'exploitation de données d'observation de la Terre par les satellites est en pleine expansion, non seulement au Canada, mais évidemment à travers le monde. Et aujourd'hui, on prend les moyens pour s'assurer que le Canada conserve sa place de choix dans cette grande industrie qui fait l'envie du monde. And as you know, Canada is a renowned leader in satellite technologies, and we want to stay there. You all know, but it's good because we have our friends from the media to remind that satellites is part of our day-to-day lives, from GPS navigation, something that I think we all take for granted, particularly now in this new generation, to bank transactions, to everyday internet searches, but it also contributes to the way we make decisions. And I would say to all of you, better decisions, because we have more data to make these decisions. So thanks to these satellites, we have high-quality satellite data, which enables not only government, but I would say a number of businesses to make informed science-based decisions in order to sustainably ensure the health and safety of all Canadians. And I think you've known and you've seen over the summer how much we rely on that data, and I see a lot of men and women in uniform. And I want to thank you, and I think we should give them a big round of applause. Keeping our country safe, always be there to say yes when we need them, helping communities evacuate, preventing, and certainly your role today is more important than ever. So I would say on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you to all of you for your service. And certainly, we have seen over the summer the impact of climate change. We have seen the need for emergency responses. And I would say many of our military personnel have been at the forefront of that. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of all of us. But today I'm pleased to announce, because sometimes when they invite me, they expect me to announce things. So, you know, this is the moment. If you were expecting, you know, champagne for breakfast is a bit much. So I said, I should better come here with an announcement. But I'm pleased to announce a non-precedented $1 billion in funding for the creation of RadarSat Plus portfolio. And I think, thank you. I think we can, I see Lisa. I think, by the way, for everyone in the room and the media, that round of applause is not for me, but it's for the leadership, the expertise, and the excellence of all the people who work at the Space Agency of Canada and all of you as part of this sector, because this is Canadian funds that we're putting in the industry, and I think it's a tribute to the excellent work that has been done by all the employees at the Space Agency for their foresight in making sure that we build. This RadarSat Plus portfolio will include things like the project design, build, and launch of replacement satellite, because all of you know that at some stage, our satellite, and especially the RadarSat Constellation mission, comes to the end of life, so we need to replace. But also what I found inspiring, and I hope you're with me on that, is that we're going to define the fourth generation of sovereign national satellite system to succeed RadarSat Constellation. So part of this is about replacement, which is much needed to ensure that we have continuity of data, but as well it is really leading us to the next generation, what I call the fourth generation of satellite, which will maintain and enhance Canada's Earth observation capabilities and ensure continued access to satellite imagery over the long term. And I said it before, if there was a time where we need these images, I would say we have seen time and time again how crucial they are. So the RadarSat Plus solution is really the culmination of a joint effort by the Canadian space industry, so that means all of you, and the Canadian Space Agency, which means many of you in the room, to find options that will ensure the continuity of observation services of our planet for the benefit of Canadians in their daily lives. So, grâce à ce nouvel investissement, nous rendrons les données d'observation terrestre accessibles au plus grand nombre. Et c'est vraiment ça l'objectif qu'on doit avoir, c'est de s'assurer comment ces données-là qu'on obtient par nos satellites dans l'espace, comment on peut les rendre accessibles. Et je me rappelle des discussions avec Lisa Campbell où je disais comment on peut faire non seulement aux agences du gouvernement, mais à la population canadienne en général, parce que je pense que dans l'économie d'aujourd'hui, avoir cette information-là peut nous aider quand on pense à l'intelligence artificielle. Je pense que ces données-là vont nous aider à plusieurs domaines, dans plusieurs secteurs d'activité. Alors, par la même occasion, on va faire progresser la science et les connaissances dans divers domaines, dont la lutte au changement climatique. On va favoriser l'innovation, et je pense qu'on est tous d'accord que s'il y a une industrie qui parle d'innovation, c'est bien l'industrie spatiale. Et nous allons alimenter l'économie numérique du Canada, d'où je disais, par exemple, la connectivité avec, évidemment, l'intelligence artificielle. So these advances created by satellite observation of our planet are infinite and for the benefit of Canadians. And I would say for now and for generations to come. Oftentimes, I feel as a generation, we are taking the dividend of what has been done by people before us. If you think that the Alouette satellite was back in 1962, it's almost for me kind of us giving back to the next generation, making sure that not only we have a dividend for the current activities that we have, but how do we put our next generation of leaders, the like of David Saint-Jacques and others, to say, you know, the space program continues and this is kind of the next phase. So this is going to be hopefully 20, 30 years from now, people can see that as a dividend to them for the next generation. But above all, this new investment will strengthen our position as a world leader. I think you've heard me on many, with some of you, to see me in different events, but it's always about leadership. It's always about making sure Canada is at the top, Canada is ambitious, and this is, for me, about leadership and ambition. So as I close, I would say let's seize the moment. There has never been, I think, a better time to put Canada as a leader in space. Let's be ambitious, and this is always what I say when I finish these speeches, raising the level of ambition of the nation. Et continuons de faire du Canada la référence mondiale dans l'observation terrestre. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a wonderful day. I want to say thank you again to the Space Agency, to all of you in the space industry. Make us proud, be ambitious, and let's make Canada lead in the world. Merci tout le monde.
Merci mille et une fois, Monsieur le ministre. Quelle belle annonce. Merci pour votre dévouement envers le secteur spatial et bien sûr pour les investissements significatifs que votre gouvernement est en train de dédier au secteur. Minister, we appreciate your commitment to championing the Canadian space sector and its ecosystem, and we look forward to continuing to collaborate with you, your team, and your government in strengthening the Canadian space sector. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a little health break, only because we want the minister to be able to chat with some media, and we want maybe when the minister's leaving for you all to say goodbye to him. So we are going to take a few moments. It's going to be a very short break, so please stick around here, grab a quick coffee, and then once we sort of get the scrum done and all that good stuff, we'll be able to start up again. All right? Merci beaucoup. Monsieur le ministre, merci encore. Round of applause.